Inglewood Police Department. How can we help you? A calm, male voice answered on the other end of the line. Yes, I'd like to report a missing person. Who's missing? My wife. What's her name? Marie Jackson. At first, it sounded like a routine call, a worried husband reporting his missing wife. But detectives would soon realize something chilling. Marie Jackson wasn't simply missing. By the time that phone call was made, she had already been murdered. And the man reporting her disappearance may have been the one responsible. What began as an ordinary missing persons report would soon unravel into a disturbing story of jealousy, control, and a murder hidden in plain sight. This is the chilling case of Marie Singleton-Jackson. Chapter 1. The Discovery. 5 days after that phone call, on November 16, 1994, a quiet stretch of coastline in Los Angeles would become the center of a disturbing discovery. A man driving along the road near Dockweiler State Beach noticed something strange. A silver Saab sat parked near the sand. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. Cars sometimes broke down near the beach. But something about this one felt wrong. The car had been sitting there for days. No one had come back for it. The windows were slightly fogged, and sand had begun gathering around the tires. The area around the vehicle was eerily quiet. Eventually, the man decided to call police. When officers arrived, they quickly located the car. It was locked. But when they opened the trunk, they made a horrifying discovery. Curled tightly inside was the body of a woman. She was later identified as Marie Singleton-Jackson. At first, the scene looked like the work of a random attacker. Her car had been abandoned miles away from her home. But investigators immediately noticed something disturbing. There were deep bruises around her neck. Marie hadn't been shot. She hadn't been stabbed. She had been manually strangled. And investigators know something about crimes like this. Manual strangulation is rarely random. It is almost always personal, which meant the person responsible was likely someone Marie knew. Chapter 2. Who was Marie Jackson? To understand what happened to Marie, investigators first needed to understand who she was. Marie Singleton-Jackson was born on August 12, 1961, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Friends described her as intelligent, determined, and incredibly ambitious. She had always dreamed of building a better life for herself, and eventually, she did. By the early 1990s, Marie had moved across the country and settled in Inglewood, California. She was raising 4 young children. Being a single mother wasn't easy, but Marie was determined to give her children stability and opportunity. To neighbors, she simply said she worked for the Department of Defense. But the truth was far more interesting. Marie actually worked for the Central Intelligence Agency as a communications specialist. Her job required discipline, secrecy, and extreme precision. In fact, some of her closest friends didn't even know the full details of her work. Despite the pressure of her career, Marie had dreams beyond government service. She hoped to start her own business one day. But more than anything, she wanted a stable family life for her children. Which is why, when she met a man named Andre Jackson, she believed she had finally found the partner she needed. Unfortunately, that relationship would soon take a dark and dangerous turn. Chapter 3. A marriage that turned dangerous. When Marie first met Andre Jackson, he seemed charming and supportive. He quickly formed a bond with Marie's children. At first, he appeared to be everything she had hoped for: a partner, a father figure, someone who wanted to build a family. Eventually, the couple decided to get married, but not everyone was convinced. Shortly before the wedding, friends began noticing troubling changes in Andre's behavior. He became more controlling, more possessive. He constantly questioned Marie about where she was going, who she was talking to, and when she would be home. After the marriage, things became even worse. Arguments became more frequent. Tension filled the house. Marie's children began feeling uncomfortable around him. But the most frightening moment came during a heated argument. According to investigators, Andre suddenly placed his hands around Marie's throat and began choking her. It was a terrifying glimpse of how dangerous the relationship had become. From that moment on, Marie knew something had to change. The marriage was a mistake, and she needed to leave him. But ending the relationship would prove far more dangerous than she could have imagined. Chapter 4. The night everything changed. By November of 1994, Marie Singleton-Jackson had made a decision. She was going to end the marriage. All she needed to do was tell Andre. On the evening of November 11th, she prepared to have that conversation. But after that night, Marie was never seen alive again. Later that evening, Marie's 8-year-old son, Marcus, woke up to something unusual. His baby brother was crying. The house was quiet. Too quiet. When Marcus looked around, he realized something terrifying. Their mother was gone, and the children were alone. This was completely out of character. Marie would never leave her children like that. Meanwhile, Andre Jackson was attending his son's football game. At some point during the evening, he called the house. Marcus answered the phone. Andre asked where Marie was. Marcus told him he didn't know. He was alone. Later that night, Andre returned home. He gathered the children and took them to his mother's house. Then he claimed he began searching for Marie. The next morning, when she still hadn't returned, Andre called police. According to him, Marie had gone jogging and never came back. But detectives would soon discover something that completely destroyed that story. Chapter 5. Behavior that raised suspicion. In the days after Marie disappeared, Andre appeared to be a concerned husband. He helped organize search efforts. He contacted Marie's friends. He even helped distribute missing person flyers near Dockweiler State Beach. But detectives began noticing strange details. When investigators discovered Marie's body and returned to the police station, Andre was already there, waiting, almost as if he expected news. When detectives told him Marie had been found dead, his reaction was dramatic. He screamed. He collapsed onto the floor. He cried uncontrollably. But one detective later described it as looking more like a child throwing a tantrum than genuine grief. Something about the performance didn't feel right. But an even stranger detail would emerge later that same day. Just hours after learning his wife had been murdered, Andre was seen calmly washing his car. To investigators, the timing was extremely suspicious. But suspicion alone wasn't enough. They needed proof. Chapter 6. A case that went cold. Despite their suspicions, detectives didn't have enough physical evidence to charge Andre Jackson. The investigation slowly stalled. Months turned into years. Witness memories faded. Eventually, the case went cold. For nearly a decade, the murder of Marie Singleton-Jackson remained unsolved. But advances in forensic science would eventually give investigators a second chance. Chapter 7. The breakthrough. In 2003, detectives reopened the case. They began reviewing the original evidence. That's when they discovered something shocking. Several biological samples collected from the crime scene had never been tested using modern DNA technology. The samples were sent to the FBI laboratory in Quantico, Virginia. When the results came back, investigators finally had a breakthrough. Male DNA had been found, mixed with Marie's blood. Now detectives had a powerful new lead. But there was a problem. Andre Jackson had disappeared. Chapter 8. The DNA match. Then investigators caught an unexpected break. Andre's son was arrested on an unrelated charge. Police obtained a warrant to collect his DNA. When the results came back, they revealed something stunning. The DNA strongly indicated that the genetic material found on Marie's body belonged to Andre Jackson. Skin cells under Marie's fingernails matched him. So did a drop of blood found on the hood of her car. After nearly a decade, investigators finally had the evidence they needed. Chapter 9. The arrest. In 2008, the FBI Fugitive Task Force tracked Andre Jackson to Tempe, Arizona. He was arrested and extradited back to Los Angeles County. Prosecutors offered him a deal. If he pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, he could receive an 11-year sentence. But Andre refused. He insisted he was innocent. When investigators asked him directly if he killed his wife, his answer was simple.
Did you kill your wife, Marie Jackson?
No, I did not.
Do you have any idea who did?
No, I do not.
Chapter 10. Justice. In 2012, after a 6-week trial, the jury finally reached a verdict. Andre Jackson was found guilty of first-degree murder. 2 months later, he was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. For Marie's family, justice had finally arrived, but it had taken nearly 2 decades. Conclusion. The story of Marie Singleton-Jackson is a chilling reminder of a tragic truth. The most dangerous threats are not always strangers. Sometimes, they are the people closest to us. And in this case, the man who called police to report his wife missing was the same man who had taken her life. If you value truth and in-depth investigations, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you are the first to get our latest reports. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know which story you want to see next. Stay with our America Crime Depth reports and uncover the truth behind every case.